Hello guys, and what's going on? So in this one we are going to talk about functions, okay, and why they're really crucial. So let's start with what's basically a function. A function is a piece of code that can be used repeatedly throughout your code. Okay, that's it for function. So why we do something like that? Sometimes you have 10 to 20 lines in your code, or any number of lines you are going to use a lot in your code, or it's going to be repeated. So you put them in a function and you call that function with just one line of code. Okay, you can call it whatever you want. you know you can just with a simple line it can be called, rather of writing have to writing this massive lines again and again. So this helps keep your code clean, refactored, nice, and more readable. Okay, this is actually a software development term which stands for which is dry, and it's basically an acronym for do not repeat yourself, which means that you should be writing less and less code, okay, that can do, of course, can do the same job that the big code the big code does. Okay, so this is it for functions, why we use them, and what are basically functions. So now to the next point, which is actually creating the function. For creating functions, you have to use the reserved word function, and now you write the name of your function just after it. So for creating functions, you have to start with a dash, or a character. You cannot use anything else to start. Of course, you can, after you write your first character, you can add your numbers or whatever you want, but for the start you need to start with dash or just any character you want. Okay, so this is it for the naming, and let me name my function. Let's call it my func and parentheses, and now to the body of the function, now it's curly braces, and here you put your your repeated code that's going to be called by or that's going to be executed by this function. Let me create something small right here. Let me echo out, let's say hello from function. Okay, now we actually created our function, but it will not be used until we call it. Okay, it won't be used like if the page is loading or something like that. No, we need to actually call it to use it. Okay, so to call a function you just write its name just like that. If you're asking why the parentheses right there, this is going to be the topic of the next video, and I'm going to end this with a semicolon and save it. And if we go to my file here, or whichever file you're working on, if I refresh this, it says hello from function. Okay, of course we can make this more complex. Let me go down there and create a variable. Let me call it user name, and this was going to be with coding, and in this, and now an if statement. If this username right there equals web coding, just a simple if statement, and we are going to echo out hello web coding. Okay, just like that. And else, if it's not, if this condition right here is false, this one will be executed right there. You're not with coding. Okay, shouldn't be here. Okay, I want to make this video long. So this is it. Now our function is actually called. If we save it and go back like this, and let me just comment this right there. We refresh this. This is hello web coding, you know, whatever you, of course you can tweak this a little bit as you want, okay? And we can write our loops, you know, we can write anything inside the function, and the function will execute it right away. Okay, so just you know, a simple note about function. When you know, when writing functions are case insensitive, okay, and that means if I go you know, so you don't care about the difference between the capital and the non-capital letters. So if I save this and go back over here and refresh this, it's still, you know, calling my function because it's case insensitive, and that means doesn't care about you know, the capital or the small letters. Okay, you know, they're unlike variables care, but functions don't care. Okay, so this is it for functions, and wait for the next one, which is going to be about arguments. Okay, and it's also really prominent. So see you in the next one.